Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to another Rangers Rundown. Special episode this week with Santa himself. Welcome.
Ho, ho, ho. How are you, Swiz?
I'm well, mate. And if you haven't guessed already, it is Benny Owen who's doing his best impression of Santa this summer. We've been actually talking about it on the podcast. Doing a great job down at Fountain Gate, mate, with the kids. How's that been going?
Yeah, it's been enjoyable, but tough at times too. They bring in their 2-year-olds and they burst out crying the minute they see me. So that's always a bit of a challenge trying to get them settled for a photo. But you win some and you lose some.
For sure, mate, for sure. But I do like the fact that you've come in costume. We do appreciate that, mate. But you can take it off, mate. We'll talk some cricket with you and stuff. But it's good. It's good. It was and I love that. Oh, beautiful, mate. That's how Santa should be. Just coming down with the Rangers hat. That would be absolutely gold. But we are here to obviously talk some cricket. As also we do enjoy these sort of interviews, mate. So we'll kick off with the obvious question: how did you get started in cricket?
Well, I got an older brother who's 14 months older than me, so he was interested to go along and play, and I thought it was good enough for him, it's good enough for me. So I followed him along, and pretty much we started the same day in under 12s out at Wandon East 40 odd years ago, I suppose. Yeah.
And did you, I guess, play most of your time out there out at Wandon? Or I know you've obviously moved around a little bit, but let's sort of give that timeline. How long were you out there at Wandon East?
Yeah, see, I sort of played all my juniors at Wandon East, but there were seasons when we had a combined team. So, like when I was top age under 14s, we didn't have enough players. So we had a combined team with Wandon, and then when I was top age 16s, we had a combined team with Seville. Just worked out with numbers and stuff. So, yeah. And then when I finished 16s at Seville, I got into basketball and reffing basketball, and I stopped for a couple of years, and then I went and played at Monbulk because I was at Monbulk High School, so I just played with mates at Monbulk for a couple of years until I sort of got in a relationship with Mel, and cricket was just taking up too much time, and I stopped. And then 2001, at the end of 2001, Wandon East was sort of going to fold, and my older brother and my younger brother and I all decided, well, why don't we go back and play some cricket together? My brother went down the line and was playing down around Bentley and stuff because he was living down that way, and my younger brother didn't play a real lot. So we thought, well, let's get up in the hills, and my brother dragged a couple of mates, and we won the flag in the first year, so it was good fun.
Oh, mate, that's awesome. I will mention your brother very quickly, mate, because he had one of the famous innings up there against my old mob, South Belgrave, for that. And you were obviously out. There was a few of yous out there that day. What do you remember of the 256, mate?
Oh, it was a bit of a crazy day because if you look through the scorecard, they were all very late. It was a standard sort of normal innings. My brother batting himself too low, or making the captain, who was me most of the time, bat him down low. Get someone else to do all the hard work with a new ball. But it was a lot of a standard innings, and then I think we must have got close to the score, and he's just teed off for the last 20 overs and scored like 200 runs in 20 overs. But bat number 8 and bat number 9, like I think they got 5 or 6 runs each in partnerships of 100 each, so it's crazy. So you saw on the weekend with the bloke from Belgrave scoring 300 in the ones. You just have funny days like that in cricket.
Yeah, for sure. That Wandon Reserve is pretty good for batting out there at Wandon East. So, but at the same time, you still have to get them.
Oh, it's a bit like our school ground. Like the size of the ground is perfect for the grade of cricketers play there, but it's got little quirkiness with the hill and a few things. And away teams often struggle with which end to bowl and stuff like that. Whereas you play on it every other week, you get used to it, I suppose, and you know which bowler's going to bowl from where and where to put the fielders in the valley and stuff like that. So, yeah, a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's fair to say Rang's a pretty big club. That.
Yeah.
What's it like, the differences there with obviously Wandon East usually being a one-club team?
Yeah, so I had a little bit of experience with a big club with Monbulk. So I played, it would have been 3 or 4 seasons at Monbulk. First taste of captaining, I captained the third 11. It was a funny old season. We got trounced nearly every week, but we got an outright in the middle of it. So the only win we pretty much had for the season was an outright. So that was a bit of a strange thing. Yeah, so that was a bit of a taster. I think we had 5 sides at Monbulk then for a couple of years. And then I stopped for a bit. And then, like I said, I took it up in 2001, went back to Wandon East. Very different, very sociable. Wandon East, we never had a canteen. We never had a bar. The beer after the game consisted of taking in turns of bringing a slab and a bag of ice to the ground, and you throw $5 in the esky, or probably back then it was probably only $2 in the esky, and all the money went in the AAA fund. So it was probably 14 or 15 of us, and it was very sociable because a lot of the players and mums and dads would come and have a bit of a laugh and enjoy the game. So yeah, it's a good time. We won 3 flags in 4 or 5 or 6 years. We started off 2-day cricket, went into 1-day cricket because we got lazier, I suppose. Yeah, so
yeah, no, for sure. I've been trying to look for the scorecards. Unfortunately, not all of them are on play cricket from back there. But the year after, 2 years after I left Rang, I was playing at South Belgrave, and I know we played Wandon East, and you guys put about 600 up against us. So not too sure if we actually played against each other that day.
Yeah, I was trying to find that myself.
We were trying to work that out. I was sort of off air, but to a bit of a recap, maybe the worst day of cricket I've ever been, 2 days of cricket I've been involved in. I think 600 versus outright, where we put up 150. So, as in a combined 2 innings. So to lose by an innings at 100 and 450 runs is as bad as it gets for cricket. But the Wandon East boys were obviously way too good for us. And it was probably a bit of a thing every time the lower grades of South Belgrave came up against Wandon East. You guys did, used to smoke us.
We had, to be honest, not including myself, I was just an okay cricketer, but we had some really good cricketers that were just playing for fun. And at times you would tear a team apart, and at times we didn't. One of my fondest memories against your old mob was at South Belgrave in the grand final. We passed your score 9 down to win the flag, so that was pretty exciting. It was a bit of a nail-wrenching type affair. You guys are right on top of T on day one. I think you're like 3 for 140 or something. And we nearly got a hat-trick in the first over after tea. And we just got you out real quick after tea. And then, of course, we had 18 or so overs to bat at the end of the first day. There's no reward for bowling sides out first on the first day. You got to go in and bat for an hour. So, guess who had to do that? It was me. So, I think we ended up being 1 down at the close of play, and thankfully I still had my wicket, which sort of set a foundation. But we're right on top of the game, and then, cricket being grand final, we lose wickets, and then we get down to number 11, who hasn't made a run, or you had to get a run or so to win the grand final. So it was enjoyable for us, but it was a tricky, fun sort of day. Yeah,
being such a small club and small town, that would have been a pretty decent celebration after winning a flag like that.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, it's not like we've got a pub or anything. We often just use the public hall and BYO beer and get some pizzas or something. So yeah, we'll go back to someone's house. Play away games is normally the Royal Hotel in Ferntree Gully that we ended up playing, because most of our games then were in the Ferntree Gully League. Originally, Wandon East were in the Yarra Valley League. We sort of moved, I think, to 1-day cricket, and a big association in Ferntree Gully sort of suited the club at that time.
It is a good little discussion, that, because we're probably now seeing it with the women's side of stuff, not used to it being in the men's side, where we play a lot of clubs who have 4, 5, up to 9 teams, some of them. But we've seen with obviously the women's, where it's a lot of the clubs have 1 teams, and some of these clubs are standalone, to actually not knowing what it's like to being in a 1 club team. And I guess you have that real spread of talent where, players want to play with either your brothers or your friends, and you might have a couple of guns who are up that way who want to obviously play together. And then you've obviously got a couple of guys who are sort of lower, but because you've only got the 1 team, you've got to, play together, and you probably do get a lot of odd results. And, but at the same time, it's enjoyable to be part of.
Oh, exactly. We were fortunate for 1 or 2 seasons there. We actually got a second side up, so that was a bit of fun. We had another dozen or blokes around, so it was a bit of fun. And then then we all went our own ways, and unfortunately the club folded probably 10 or 15 years ago now. So as many small clubs do in around the hills in the country, I suppose, or merge. Like my other club that I played at after that, when I stopped playing, and then must have been early 2014 or 15 or so, Eliza came home from school one day and said, "Oh, Dad, I want to play cricket." I was like, "Oh, cool! Didn't even make you." So she had a clinic at school, and she wanted to play cricket. And one of her teachers was involved with Launching Place Cricket Club, and they had a girls' team. So I thought, well, if you want to play cricket, we'll head you over that way. And by the end of her first season there, of course, the president said, "Oh, Ben, we're short this week. You want to have a game of cricket?" So I played the last game of the season, then started playing full time from the next season onwards. So again, a small club. We had two sides there most of the time. I'm sure we had three. No, we had three for a year or two, and that's when I met the Carvel. So I was playing with Dave Carvel and Brad Carvel, and I was by the second, and the girls were playing with Tyler and Callum. So it's been a while now that we've had the connection with the Carvel family, and then a year or two after that, Eliza was filling in for their women's team, playing alongside Alicia there. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a unique little relationship we did have with Launching Place. Amanda Morrison, who's a premiership captain there, was an original reign. So we had a women's team that a few people know. Maddie Peasley has talked about this before, 20 odd years ago, and Amanda was very much part of that. It's a shame it kind of went away, but some of these girls did continue on and kick on, and Amanda leading them to a potentially 2 or 3 premierships. I know I watched one, and Alicia was playing in them. So, it's great that, yourselves and the Carvels, and hopefully Amanda at some point comes back, and you've continued on this sort of this legacy that we've had from previous times. But it's a good relationship that we've brought over from Launching Place too.
Yeah, well, yeah. So we had fun at Launching Place. They were going to. The year we left Launching Place, it was only because we're looking for a girls' team. And Monica put us on to Jason Boyd because he was involved with trying to get a girls' team up at Croydon Rangers, and then obviously formed the Ainsley Rangers junior program. And Eliza came over for that. And obviously, because David had come over the year before from Launching Place to play with Croydon Rangers in the under-16s program. Spoke really highly of Jason's coaching and stuff. So we thought, well, you know what, it's a bit further to travel, but if it gives Eliza an opportunity initially with a girls team, and then we stayed for the good times, I suppose.
Yeah, well, it's going to be my next question. How have you got over the Rang? But it's good with that Ainsley play. It's a weird combo because anybody who's been at Rang for more than 2 minutes knows the love between us and Ainsley Park. I guess it's all good, off the field, but on the field, it's a fierce rivalry and stuff like that. Probably didn't go as well as it probably could have, the relationship at times, but obviously there were still some good moments, and the fact that they still gave opportunities to give the girls a go, which is the main thing. And both sides have obviously gone their separate ways, and now got both good thriving women's programs. At least it was a good starting point to get the girls involved.
Yeah, I think all the girls that were Croydon Rangers girls in that program are still playing cricket. So, Ash and Kiara, Eliza and so on. So if you measure that as a measuring stick, you go, well, that's good. Obviously Kiara's ability's better than where our women's team's based now, but it's good to see her. Good to see her in the green on the weekend, having a bit of fun, hitting some runs and stuff. So, onwards and upwards.
Well, that's a good thing, at least for the women's program, how it's set out. Like we have our normal league, like no different to the men's, where we have our standard league, and then we have our T20 competition where we can bring back our players. And just the recent weekend, obviously we had Kiara, but also Michaela, who's a Rangers junior. So it was great to see them back. And you want to see your players go on, and especially when they're young, go off and do great things. We know obviously Dave Carvel's over at Subbies at the moment, and we've had Jack and Joe come back from Premier, but you want to see those people progress if they're good enough to go off and play Prem and hopefully further. But when the opportunity arises to get them back in the green, like we did have on the weekend, was really exciting for the club. And they have the crowd down watching the vets, but also so many of them were having a keen eye on how Kiara and Michaela were doing. That's fantastic for the club.
Yeah, I think to be honest, there wasn't many watching the vets by the time the women's game started. I think the only guys watching the vets were people directly involved in the vets, and everyone's over watching the women's, as it should be. It was a much better brand of cricket than what we'll try to roll out.
Until the chase at the end, which was fantastic. That we might touch on that afterwards. But yeah, it is good. It's great to be in the situation we are, and having the standard team and now into the T20 competition, and obviously your three loves are all involved. Well, I should say three of your four loves because you've got a lot of Lions photos behind you. But yeah,
I have to work out which order they're
you have your wife Mel and then your two daughters Eliza and Kat, very much part of the female program at Rang. That must be really exciting and must be proud for you, mate.
Yeah, it was a strange little feeling yesterday afternoon when I think it was Tatey's daughter was yelling out something to Daddy, and I said to the guys next to me, "Well, it's not my family; they're all over there playing cricket." So it was quite a strange feeling that we're all in the same club at the same time playing on the two ovals. So obviously Mel never had any ambitions to play cricket, and when we're trying to get the Croydon team up in the wintertime, there's 7, there might be 8, there might be 9 players, and she said, "Well, I'll get along the training. I can stand on the field and help get a side up." And she's more than playing her part now and enjoys the camaraderie with the girls and hit the winning run on the weekend. And as you know, Swiz, you don't always get a chance to hit the winning run, so she sort of enjoyed that. Obviously, the other girls are coming in leaps and bounds with the extra training sessions and playing Saturday, Sunday cricket. We have a little competition here with the wickets. Someone's way ahead on the runs, but then we just looked at our batting average before, and Eliza's batting average is nearly the same as mine. It helps when she doesn't get out. So Catherine's miles ahead in the wicket taking at the moment, so a bit of work to catch up on her.
Yeah, no, it's good, but they've all got their strengths, and that's part of it. And talking to the Tawnies, it seems to be the exact same thing: a bit of competition at home, healthy competition at home, and it probably helps encourage everybody to try to push to do their best. But yeah, as you said, it was great. Mel hitting the winning runs and being part of that. And, I think a lot of people have known. We've had a lot of family relationships throughout Rang's history, and don't have to look too far from like Spencer's is a great example of that.
Yeah, that's right.
You go grandfather, father, and grandson kind of situation. But now we've got these situations where it's dad and daughter, and even mum and daughter playing. It's a huge change, but it's an exciting change.
Oh, absolutely. I thoroughly enjoyed the Spencer game last year. It was an honour to play with some of those club stalwarts in a special game and to enjoy the moment with them and get a win, obviously. And you just, I've only been at the club a couple of years, but you soon learn who the legends are and the backstories and stuff. One of the things in the back of my mind leading up to the end of this season, if Boydie recovers from his surgery, is whether, he comes back through the Sixers and we get Ash out to have a game with him, and maybe even Dana. Dana's fallen in love with the game playing as well. So whether there's an opportunity to pinch the wicketkeeper from the fourths to come and play as well, we'll see how we go.
Well, that's the one exciting thing of obviously captaining the Sixers, mate, because you've obviously already had Grant and Georgia down in the Stutzels. There's potential that we could see the same thing with the Carvels. Obviously, Brad's played with his sons, but potentially Alicia. So we've got these opportunities now where even Maddie and Imogen, that we can have the dads who would have thought they had the opportunity to play with their daughters in the game, and we're living that at the moment.
Yeah, and you'll be the same in 15 years' time or so, mate. It is special. It is, and especially when the girls are holding their own. They've been playing such great cricket, and they've picked on their merits as much as anything now. Not just because like on the weekend when Eliza got the 2 opening bats out in the same over, and the week before Catherine did similar. So it's been great to play with them, but it's even more fun now that they're playing their role within the team. Even on the weekend just gone, when you had a chat with them and I had a chat with them about the game situation, and they didn't fray from we've got to get out there and play shots and potentially run ourselves out for the better of the team, and their development's been great.
Yeah, no, fantastic. Let's talk a bit about the Sixers. Firstly, mate, how did it come about you taking over and captaining when you did, and how have you found that? And then we'll get on to obviously this weekend, but let's just talk about that in general.
Yeah, so obviously the second year as the captain of the Sixers. I played 2 games with Eliza in the Sixers the year the Sixers won the flag under Mitch. And then there was obviously talk of Mitch going up to the Fives, and there was a gap in the Sixers. and sort of Boydie sort of had a chat with me about, was I going to play? And I said, well, more than happy to play. Eliza was keen. She enjoyed the taste of playing the Sixers. So I said, well, I'm only keen to play with the girls because as you know, cricket takes such a big part of your weekend. So to be able to do it with your family, I suppose you're spending time with your family. So, so obviously took it up last year. Must have done something right, getting into the finals, and they come knocking on the door again to have another go. So it's been fun. It's about having some fun with the older blokes, but also instilling some cricket values and learnings in the younger players to come through. So obviously the likes of Tyler on the weekend, for those who don't know, to go on and make 50 not out, and his first time, I recall him bowling 7 overs, and it wasn't even a conversation about whether you do or don't. He was just the pick of the bowlers on the day as well. So he had struggled at times, but in the last 2 or 3, probably a month or so of cricket, he's put his hand up and batted at 4, and he's playing his role.
We'll go into this game now that you've brought it up. So yeah, we did play Warrandyte out there in the on the postage stamp in Warrandyte Forest. So they did put up a big score of 6 for 255, and as you can see, we fell a little bit short, but not that much. It was 9 for 233. We'll go through that bowling first, and as you said earlier, Eliza picking up a couple of important wickets up there at the top of the order. Kiara coming on and getting an LBW, and then Tyler bowling quite well, and unfortunately just a couple of drop catches, one by the wicket keeper. That's all we need to say about that. Where a couple of the guys got on. I'll give a shout out to one of their players, young Miles. I don't know if he's 12 or 13. But geez, that kid's got some talent, and I thought he batted beautifully. And
24 off 19, and just in the stage where we thought we were going to squeeze him a bit, and he comes in and plays his shots to conventional parts of the ground, which sort of caught us off guard because nothing else was conventional earlier.
Yeah, so and I'm happy to acknowledge that because a great young kid. We've played against him a couple of times, and really good. So Matty McMahon unfortunately couldn't relive with the ball what he did last week, but he pulled a bit of a groin, and we'll talk about the batting afterwards. But
I think he was worried about his economy rate, mate. I think that was his problem.
100%, but it was about more the kids, and Eliza with the 2 far, Tyler 2 for 38, Kiara, and probably the economical rates don't probably show it because anybody who's been down the Warrandyte's background, you can literally tap balls for 4. So I thought they bowled well in a game where we were playing probably their first 5 or 6 players, senior players who I think they might play in their over 50s or 60s.
Yeah, they play pretty competitive vets cricket. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they were talking out. They were playing against Richmond or something on the Sunday. So
right.
that's fine. Like you can understand why they're playing down there, but at the same time, the you can't buy experience, but it's a great opportunity for our young fellas and young ladies to go up against them. And they did take some important wickets for us. Yeah,
absolutely. Like I say, it's first, second change bowlers now. The kids are playing their role. We're probably a bowler or 2 short on the weekend, but especially when Matt went down, because obviously he would have been our first choice bowler to close out the game. But to get 7 out of Tyler and even Shannon, I know he's a young bloke and all, but he was a bit stiff. I can't believe how unlucky as a bowler he was bowling extreme on the weekend, and just had more nicks than a Greek wedding, and they wouldn't go to hand.
And not just that, but the French cuts. Like I'm overseeing all these batsmen playing French cuts before they go flying past me, and I'm just like, are you for real? Like it's getting to the point where we legitimately need a backstop, not just because I'm an awful keeper, but just because we're getting French cutted every third ball.
Probably save 20 runs a game through there.
Yeah, it's actually beyond a joke, but it was great for those young players, and hopefully they continue to do. Obviously you copped a bit of stick at the end, mate. May have given somebody a send off when they retired as well, but that's cricket. Love that.
That's right. I shook his hand, had a beer with him, so we get along.
That's the main thing. That is the main thing. No matter what, you keep it on the field and you move on. From the batting card, some good performances again. Obviously Rich Tater, opened the batting. Probably doesn't want to do that, but I thought he was fantastic up the top again with the 40. I'll let you talk through Tyler's innings, mate.
Yeah, first thing, obviously some learnings there with Alistair. If you're going to go and fetch the new Nurry that I've lost in the bush, put it in your pocket. Don't throw it back out on the oval. Shit. And Tyler obviously went in. We were pretty in a bit of trouble, really. What did we end up with? About 2 for 40 or something, I suppose, when he went in.
Yeah, something like that. 2 for 49 he's come in.
Yeah.
And even when Tatum went out, it was sort of 3 for 80.
Yeah, that's right. So he played his shots early, and then he got batting with Matt, and then obviously you look at what Matt's done. He's hit 8 in the trees. So Tyler's innings changed then from not hitting boundaries to hitting singles, and then he went up a gear again. When Matt went out, he started to play his shots again alongside with Alistair. But you know, he was just so level-headed and in his zone. He wasn't rushed or phased. He likes to take a deep breath and ready to face up every ball, and he wasn't phased by the other team even sort of say, "Come on, mate, hurry up, what are you waiting for?" But no, it was a great knock. Like I said earlier, I've known Tyler since he played under 10s. Always been very keen at his cricket. At times he struggled a little bit, but you know, when you got an older brother and a younger brother and a dad that all play cricket and you're competing against each other.
And a sister now, so too, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But I think he won the battle on the weekend, which is really good. And not only with his 51 not, but with his 7 overs bowling. I think he also got 29 in the morning, so 80 for the day is pretty good effort for a young fella.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And I talked about in the pod last week, I was hoping his confidence wasn't going to be dented after he's probably robbed an opportunity to take 4 or 5 last week.
Oh, exactly.
But he's shook that off and come back and done even better. So really wrapped to see Tyler, and you can obviously continue to give him the opportunity. So he's going to hopefully continue to build on that. Matty McMahon, we'll touch on it. Anybody who was down at the club yesterday, he's already told everybody about it. And he only got out trying to come back in at the end, and he obviously retired. And
he did.
Trying to get the winning run.
He only needed 4 sixes in a row to win the game.
Yeah, that's right. So he's only that's the 27 balls. I think he retired actually off about 24 balls.
Yeah.
1 4 8 sixes. As he said, I'm doing it in sixes because it's easier to count. All 8 balls that he hit for 6, he lost. So Warren don't want to send him the bill for that. His daughter Imogen was trying to dob him in for that as well. But to be fair to him, some of those balls were clean on any size ground.
I reckon at least
he was getting a good chunk.
Going regardless. Yeah, they would have gone at the high school. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So, and he hasn't played a lot of cricket, but he's come back after 6 or 7 years and doesn't look like he's lost a beat. And I know a couple of the boys are like, doesn't lack confidence, Matty, but we love it. The mullet. Nath showed that photo the other day. So if you haven't met Matt, it's pretty easy. Just turn around. You'll see a guy walking through with a mullet through rain, and you'll be like, that's that guy. But Matty's on fire for us at the moment, which is great. And then at the end, unfortunately, I hit one up to the keeper, and Kiara hit a nice 4, but we just couldn't get the boundaries that we kind of needed, and unfortunately fell a little bit short.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said earlier, like the kids they weren't going to win in terms of their own averages or runs because of the situation. But Kiara ran hard, tried really hard. Shannon came in and played his shots really. And Al's little innings, cameo 27 off 17 was excellent. Got us up and about, close to the rate we needed. Eliza turned it over, and then sort of got to the stage where it wasn't achievable. Unfortunately, Catherine got one that, she kept off the stumps and then hit her foot and rolled onto the stumps, and she's just having a run of bad luck. So we'll get around the net.
It's cricket. I was watching her warm up yesterday, and she was smoking balls, and it's for any junior, like you see even some of the greats like Mark Taylor went through it. One of the Chapel was it? I think it was either Ian or Greg, and some people remind me of that, but went through a rough point and it's like, no, I'm batting well. I just keep getting out. It's unfortunately one of those things in cricket. Like you can be seeing it well in the net, you can be doing everything right, and then you get on game day in different situations, and then just unfortunately, even at times freak things can do. You get run out. You get diamond ducked. It's such a bizarre game like that. And then sometimes you can be batting awful or even bowling awful, and you put a couple half trackers down and you end up with 3 or 4 for, and you're like, I completely didn't deserve that. But that is the game that we play.
And the week before, you beat the outside edge 7 times and get a wicket. Yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, so no, it's been fun. The kids have done well. We've had a couple of wins, obviously. Yeah.
I was about to say about the kids, mate. Let's not just the ones that are playing in our sixes, but the under 10s, mate. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's a bit of a challenge last week. We had a hot day, but we've got 11 kids now. Generally, we have 7 or 8 on the park. We can bat however many we got. It's all just multiplied by the number of balls. There's going to be some gun cricketers there. They're all. We've got a really young side. Most of them are 7 or 8 playing under 10s. We play some big kids at times, but there's going to be some gun cricketers if we can keep them loving cricket. And come in a couple of years' time when they start to play some competitive under 12s. We already pushed one up into the under 12s. Young Dylan's going up to play under 12s in the 12-2 side, and he's top scored last week and had the best bowling figures. So he's just obviously ready to roll with that type of cricket. So yeah, I'm no doubt a couple of years' time that the kids are going to be ready to play some competitive cricket. They have fun. They have a bit of 6-7 action out in the field and all that sort of stuff. When it gets a bit hot and bothered, it's hard work. But no, they're good fun, and it's good to get back to the club in another way where you can make it fun for the kids. They seem to be enjoying Eliza and I sort of there on a Thursday, Friday night. So they have a bit of a break. I think it's sort of towards the end of Jan now where they get back out in the park. So
yeah, Friday night, especially when we're at home down Shilcock's great. Like watching Kiara, and Belinda and everybody else that helps out with the real little ones, and they're playing their little games and everything like that. And they're usually based in the middle of the 2 ovals, and then you got the 10s going with you and Eliza running that, and then you've got it'd be either Mitch's side in the 12s or Nathan's side who are absolutely flying. And yeah, Friday nights is a lot of fun down at Shilcock's for the from 12 and under.
Yeah, absolutely. We did well last week. We're supposed to play away, and we said to East Ringwood, do you want to play it at a ground with no facilities? You want to come and use the South Oval? We'll have the canteen running and whatever. And we gave all the kids a little, I suppose, cup full of lollies after the game. And the coach said, this is the best thing we did. It's a bit cooler here under your trees, and there's some facilities. So that worked out well.
Yeah, no, it's good. So, no, well done to yourself and Eliza and everybody involved in that junior program. It's going great. So, and we've had Belinda on, who is running the junior program, and
she's does amazing amount of work.
Yeah. And so, no, we can't appreciate that enough. No. Talking about cricket over the weekend, and this game definitely needs to be recapped for sure. So you were involved in this. This was the Vets finally got on the field. We've had about 4 washouts, forfeits, buys, you name it, and stuff. So this was the replay match. They decided to put us against a bit of our. If we're going to have an arch rival in Vets, I think Box Hill North are.
Yeah.
I've played a couple of interesting games against them recently. So yes, they've obviously batted first. I'm gathering they won the toss.
It's pretty mutual, I think. As you know, with the Vets side, we always seem to bowl first. So.
Yeah, to the way. So they put up 3 for 222, absolutely smoked us. I think you're the pick of the bowlers too, mate. With 1 for 11 off your 3. Might have been under bowled a little bit there, having a look at a couple of the other bowling.
So they teed off once I stopped bowling, so that just worked out well for me.
So talk us through their batting, mate, quickly.
Obviously, the Vets, you play some really, really good cricketers. So if you can get them out before they get 40, or you can limit them to a run a ball. On par, normally at home, 200 runs is a good score. But, obviously they got probably above par. We thought, oh, well. But special mention to JP dropping an absolute sitter. He had about 3 minutes to stand under the ball. The sun wasn't out. Yeah, it was a little bit of a breeze, and he just cocked it up, and everyone just thought it was the best. And then soon after that, Sando dropped one. So I've never seen JP move so fast in the field to give the old 2-2 across to his great mate Sando. But as you know, that's the fun bit. The results often take care of themselves in the Vets, because we're out there playing with guys in cricket that we would normally not play with on a Saturday. I worked it out yesterday when I was in the field. I think we nearly had all the senior captains out there playing together, from the 2s right through to the 6s. Apart from Tux, who was sick in bed. So it's good to play with guys that I've never played with, like Steve-O and Wits and stuff. So
I must admit, I was a little jealous looking at the lineup. So obviously, I was out yesterday, so was Stutz, Sporty, Tux. We actually had a few of our regulars out last
absolutely
for yesterday, but it was good that we've got that many such depth in our vets. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but that we could be easily replaced. I did get probably the only thing I did get to see from the bowling point of view was Sando's catch. Was the only thing I watched. When we had drinks break for the women's, and I looked over and just copped it at that moment. So, and I did let him know about it when I saw him. So that was as bad as it gets out in the field. But the great thing about the vets, we can laugh at it and
exactly.
put the 2-2 on, and you go from there.
And then the bat. He had a hard time because he was straight into the footwork with his stopping the ball with his foot. A young bloke like him, plays high grade cricket. Was expecting him to roll out with a bend down and use his hands, but no, he was straight into their footwork, and I think he's gotten on that. It's an easy way to go.
For sure. For the batting, Trev and Taylor opened up. Trev, a nice retirement there with the 41.
It doesn't have a threes column there because I reckon old Toot Toot must have run about 6 or 7 threes.
Mate, I couldn't believe the amount of threes we were running, and that's an absolute that's fine heaven for the for Nate running it this week, because you just don't run threes in the vets.
Well,
but, yeah,
JP ran a 3 as well, so it's all happening.
It was for sure. Chrissy Noonan got 44, not out.
He was really good. He kept the momentum going.
A mate of mine, Manjula, come in, Manny, 32 or 32.
It was good. He was just, like you say, run a ball, but he seemed to enjoy his day. It was good. And the other side were really frustrated because it was very apparent that they all knew him when he rocked up, or when they rocked up and he was already there, obviously. So it was like,
cool. He was telling me that he was. They've been trying to get him to play for ages over there, and it's because I've got the connection. He used to play in my Turf 5 side, and when he dropped down from the ones finally and played a bit there, and I used to coach his daughter, who Tasha was playing in our women's this week, or for the T20 tournament. So my goal is always, if I can't play, find my own replacement, and definitely found a much better replacement than myself. And Manny's come in and really enjoyed his time with the boys yesterday, which helped set us up. Obviously you've come and gone trying to lift the run rate.
You had some bats behind me. I wasn't going to dot up. I was going to play me shots and live and die by the sword, which I flicked one off my pads, and unfortunately went to sort of short square leg instead of over his head. But no, so be it.
I don't know who's actually put the asterisks in and not actually ticked the box to have your
that's
name,
Wits.
But that is Wits. Oh,
yeah.
Wits.
You should have seen his bowler, mate. Oh, he was more fear of knocking his own toes out. He was a bit of licorice all sorts, and then he bloody cleaned up the stumps at one stage too. So it was good to play with him, yeah.
And then now I've got to have a massive crack at this guy, because it's funny. Bobby has messaged me all week saying, can't believe the absolute way of some of these guys going about it, talking up their own performances, just have a little bit of modesty about you and stuff. And then, to be fair, he has come in and absolutely slayed it, but he has wasted absolutely no time to tell us all about it today, about how good he was. But he was good. I'll give you some credit there, Bobby. He has absolutely smoked them.
I stirred him up. First ball, I was umpiring. The first ball, we blocked and run. I said, mate, that's not conventional. What are you doing? And then after that, he's just teed off.
He absolutely has. 39 not out off, 18 deliveries, 4 fours, 2 sixes. Got JP to run a 3, which was awesome. And we've ended up doing it with 9 balls to spare. So, unreal batting by the old guys.
Yeah, and the other side rate themselves too. So, they were on top of the ladder, and I think they were turning up just for another W. So I think they walked off with the tail between their legs sort of thing. Mention to Hodgie too, for a bloke that's got no shoulder, he's down as Nick Sando. Obviously, he didn't obviously know how to register himself either. So if you look at the bowling figures, he bowled better than what his figures look. For even to get his arm over his head. For a bloke, so 3 overs for 24 is not too bad. For a bloke that does a lot around the club, it's good to get him out in the park. He had a bit of a laugh. Obviously, we weren't going to need him with the stick, but it was good to see Hodgie out there.
Yeah, no, we played a couple of games with Hodgie last year, and it was good fun. He's awesome. Great comedy behind as you said, the barbecue. But the fact that we get these guys out here, obviously we've had him and Jay, and it just adds another dimension to the club. And we love having them part of it. So a great win for the boys. As you said, they did rate themselves. I think they were pretty keen to get this fixture up, even though we were happy to probably spread the points and just lay whatever. But it's good for us because not only the confidence that we know we can beat them, they know that they can be beaten too. So they might it'll be interesting to see how they face it if we come up against them in finals.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so we played finals a couple of years ago, and we knocked off the top side first week of the finals. So we're not afraid if we get to the finals and start to play some more serious cricket. But then we just still have fun with the 2-2 and whatever. The umpire certainly doesn't know what to do when the 2-2 comes along. It's like, do I have to hold that or?
Yeah, that's just it. And it's also true. Even I was saying a few out. I don't even think Staff played yesterday.
No, Staff's playing Saturday cricket, so he doesn't want to back it up.
We've actually had quite a few changes to our lineup. But yeah, it's great to see that there's so many people that are involved, and these other guys that don't normally play come back and get involved in the game, which is awesome. A bit of fun.
Yeah, new faces. Dave Payne, for example, is keen to have a go when his planets align too. So you get some of those close to 40-year-olds instead of close to 50-year-olds playing is good.
Yeah, exactly. And they've got an opportunity this week. It's some of them will back up. We're playing the development squad. So part of
don't you worry, they're keen. Yeah.
Yeah. The development squad have been talking this up all week. So it's a massive day at Rang because we do have the women's T20 again. So it's their day 2 of their T20 competition kicking off from 10 a.m., then the 2 p.m. And then we've got because obviously the great thing of having the 2 ovals, we'll have the development squad versus the vets. There's also going to be a parents versus kids game.
Yeah, good.
So there's big chance you might be involved in a bit of. Actually, you're away too, Ben. It's actually awful day for you to be away because I'm sure you'd love to go up against your daughters and that in a bit of a match. But
no, they'll smash me. You want to see Catherine hit the ball? I bowled her; she hits me everywhere.
I love that, mate. I love that.
No, just mention of the vets game this weekend. There's rumour that Bobby's going to come off at least 6 or 7 steps. That's how serious it's going to be.
Oh, mate, I think this will be the most competitive game of the year. For sure. I don't know which side of the coin Chepper plays for, if he's a development squad or if he's plays for the vets. But yeah, well, I'm sure he'll be featuring something. Maybe he can be umpiring.
We nearly got through the whole pod without mentioning him.
I have to mention him every pod. That he gets disappointed if I don't mention him. It's part of the contract arrangement we've got.
I thought it was just cheese slices.
Yeah, it is. He was not happy with that. Well, you Chep, but that's all right. You'll let me know that bringing up Chepper Cheese as his new nickname. Yeah. While we've got you, mate, let's talk a couple other things about you. Obviously, we've talked, you're very selfless and love talking about your family and the development of the Sixers and stuff like that. But back on just to your career, mate. Favorite knock of yours, mate, that you've made?
Well, I made 4 tons. So probably my first ton when I think I was 17. Benedict Park versus Knoxfield. Smallish ground, batted all day pretty much, made 117. So that was obviously your first one for those that have got them, generally higher up there. So that's right up there. So that's probably my memorable one. I've had some other good knocks. So hitting the winning run in the grand final at Launching Place was good fun because, like I mentioned before, you don't always get a chance to necessarily hit the winning runs. There's only obviously one person in the game, and half the games you play you're bowling second, and the other half the games you're not winning. So it doesn't happen all that often.
How many flags have you actually played in? Because obviously we've talked about the one Denise and Launching Place, but how many have you played in total?
4. Yeah, so 4. I've been very lucky when you talk to guys that have played for as long as me and have never won one. So yeah, sort of they're taken for granted. That's for sure.
Yep. Was that both just one Denise and Launch, or
3 at one Denise and 1 at Launch? I played some finals at Monbog, but without any luck there. Yeah.
Yep. Well, hopefully
and obviously one final last year at the Rang. And a veterans grand final the year before, we made the grand final. We fell 15 runs short or something. I had an opportunity to hit the winning runs that day because I slid down to bat 11 because I got the ball smashed back at me bowling and I couldn't hold the ball anymore. So I went off, and then Staff flicked the order around, put Rowan up the top, which worked because Rowan smashed him. And then Jay Pay and I needed 25 off 2 overs or so, and we just couldn't get going. So
yeah.
Close, but no still.
Yeah, obviously a pretty decent batsman, mate, but you get the ball through pretty good too. Do you fancy yourself more of a batter or a bowler? And what's your best bowling performance?
I have got a 5 for many years ago, but I've always generally been a bat. And when I was junior cricket, I did a lot of wicket keeping. But sort of bowling's come about more at Croydon, I suppose, even with the vets when Staff used to throw the ball to me a lot. So I got 3 for in the semi-final. with the vets, so that was probably one of my most memorable ones because it sort of turned the game a little bit. The guys were smashing and we got a couple of quick wickets, so that was fond memories in a final. But I probably still always rate myself as a bat. I just sort of need to stop getting out for 10, which I have for the last couple of games. But so be it.
Yeah, it always happens, mate. But it seems to run through the family and that. Where did the cricket ability go? Because we've talked about Jude, who plays against my old club, for HSD, and he's smashing it in the ones. Mate. Where is there somebody down the line that's got a lot of cricket ability? Because it does seem like obviously your brothers and nephew and whatnot have all got a bit of cricket talent.
One of my uncles played a lot of high grade cricket out at Western Suburbs where he lived in Melton, so he was always a real passionate cricketer. Dad's side of the family were all good footballers. One of my cousins played VFA at Preston, so there's a little bit of sporting ability there. But we just get along and have a bit of fun. It's the main thing. Yeah,
love it. All right, I'm going to move completely away from cricket, mate. Brisbane Lions, how's that all come about, mate? You're obviously part of the cheer squad, and it's great to see you do that with your daughter. And probably nothing better that you're there on grand final day and you get to hold out the banner and everything. Just talk us through all this, mate.
Yeah, so obviously tragic Fitzroy supporter. Went to the last game at the MCG when Richmond flogged us. And then obviously the week after that, Freo insisted they had to play their last game against us over there. So sort of when the merger come, or the takeover, or whatever you look at it, I couldn't see myself barring for anyone else, so I was sort of stuck with the Lions. Obviously, it's paid dividends. So, and then sort of was a member when we first merged for a little bit because I had family that were Brisbane Bears supporters, so we sort of joined in with them. And then obviously when the kids were young, sort of moved away from going to the cricket, going to the footy regularly until I suppose Eliza initially was keen to go along a couple of times a year, but obviously with Brisbane, we only get to a couple of games anyway, locally anyway. So then 5 years now. I think 5 years now we've been members. So been to the last 3 grand finals, which has been, obviously the Collingwood one was pretty devastating. So lose by less than a goal and, and then to be able to go back to back the last 2 years, but to be able to get a ticket, obviously they're rare as hens, Steve. The best thing I did 3 years ago was got into the cheer squad when there were spots. Unfortunately, I don't have a spot for Cat, so we're trying to work through that. Well, obviously, the numbers are capped and it's pretty full. So the best sort of $80 a year I've spent on getting membership for the cheer squad, which has also led us the opportunity to get out on the ground most weeks to hold up the banner and cheer the guys on through. So, again, to do stuff with the family is good. So then Cat jumped on last year with a membership, and Mel's jumped on this year with a membership, given that we're all going anyway. So, yeah, we got to a couple of Brisbane games at the Gabba recently, so they're always fun. So, yeah, so it's good to do stuff again with the family. Mel used to barrack for Collingwood, but she's seen the light and decided, well, the family are all going for the Lions. She may as well barrack for the best side.
Yeah, the timing's good for the daughters, mate. It's some people, there'd be diehard St Kilda supporters listening to this going, geez, I'd love to see something in my lifetime. But
absolutely,
they've just come at the perfect age because they actually will remember it, and especially obviously Eliza being out there and there's photos of her obviously with the players and whatnot. So yeah, it's a magical time.
Pinch yourself because there's no guarantee like that you're ever going to do it again. Like you think, the list is getting better, but footy's a funny game, so enjoy it while it's here. And so like mum's St Kilda, my sister's St Kilda, so you sort of I prayed that they get to share have the day like we've had in the last couple of Septembers. So.
Yeah, and you're right because it can be taken away from you. I was there that day where we did flog you by 151 points, and that was the coffin of Fitzroy. Which is it's a unique thing to even think about that. Their supporters have gone through that because obviously how the professional AFL's now come, and there's all these bailouts for clubs that are struggling financially and stuff like that, where, obviously you've lived through a completely different time as a footy supporter and actually see your footy club being taken away from you. What do you actually remember about that, mate? Because that's probably something for some of our younger listeners would probably have no idea.
I went to most Detroit games in the last year. One was the Tony Lockett game when he kicked 16. So the beauty of Western Oval back then is you could swap ends of the ground, so you kept watching the footy. We used to walk from one wing across to the other, from round the wing so we can keep watching the footy in the Swans forward line. So like it was tough, but it was sort of you can't cry over spilt milk. You just got to take it for what it was. Thankfully, we've got an amazing historical society that's got a like a room space at Marble Stadium that's got a lot of Fitzroy memorabilia and stuff. So we've been able to go to that a couple of times. And the Historical Society put on a couple of nights a year. Generally, they'll put on a night at the Royal Derby Hotel in Fitzroy. They've done that the last couple of years about a couple of months after the grand final, where they bring the Premiership Cup. Last time was the Premiership Cups down and put a replay of the game on and stuff. So, it is what it is. I mean, you get a little bit frustrated when there's games like Brisbane play Richmond in bloody Hobart when it could be played in Melbourne, and we only get bloody 5 or 6 games in Melbourne, which obviously the original agreement was more than that, but so be it.
That's how it goes. And mate, I think people will kill me if I don't touch on the other part of your life, and that, mate, you are a bit of a living legend. You know, we did see the fact that you got mentioned in Parliament. Your service with the SES, mate. It's tell us how you got involved with that, how long you've done it, and you know, just a little bit of an insight that people probably don't know about how all that works.
Yeah, so I joined the SES about 21 years ago. There was just an opening, I suppose. I was sort of newish to the community up here. For those who don't know, I live in Cockatoo, so the sort of Cockatoo Emerald area. I was tossing up whether to join. There's before children, so obviously you don't have the mums group and the school pickups and things like that to meet local people. I wasn't involved with any sort of clubs and whatever around, so I thought, I'll join the first responder. For those who don't, Mel lived through Ash Wednesday, so her family were one of the fortunate ones where their house survived. So they fled as the fire was coming down the hill out the other way. So she was like, "No, you never join in the CFA. That's way too dangerous." Little did she know that the SES is just as dangerous. But so I joined the local SES 20 odd years ago, and about 12 years ago, I asked if I'd be interested in acting as the controller, which is basically the equivalent of a fire captain at a local CFA branch. I said, "Oh yeah, look, I'm happy to be an acting controller under these sort of set up some parameters around. You know, don't call me when I'm trying to put the kids in bed and stuff like that." Sort of. So I did that for just on 12 years ago and finished up doing that middle of last year, or this year. Sorry, it's not Christmas, not the end of the year yet. So the middle of this year, I stepped down from being the controller after this almost 12 years. So in that time, obviously SES is fully volunteer. So you see a truck on the road with people running around with orange on, they're all volunteers. So was an honour really to lead one of the busiest SESs in the state. So based in Emerald, we tend to often over 1,000 calls a year. Tragically for us, 4 years ago, just over 4 years ago, we lost our own house through a storm with the tree just destroying our house. And I just left to go to SES like only 20 minutes before the tree hit the house. And Mel called to say, there's a tree on the house. I can't get to the girls. They're all trapped in their bedroom. And thankfully the girls, when the storm sort of hit up, Catherine jumped in the bed with Eliza and they were in the same room together. So there's a bit of a hair raiser thing when you've got to run back to your own house to smash bedroom windows to get your family out of the house. But thankfully, we're all here. The dogs, cats, all that survived. But so, it doesn't choose these storms. But we're lucky we're heavily insured. So if you take anything from this podcast, make sure you got good insurance because, it's your car insurance, your house insurance, these things are just so important. So we're heavily insured to the point where we're stable now. We've been in this house nearly 2 years. We had to rent for nearly 2 years to work out what we're doing. So, so SES is I've got a lot of friends and stuff. So through SES and a lot of life skills. Eliza's a member as well. Mel's a member. So I've stepped back a bit, not there as much as I would be normally, which is good. I spend more time in the cricket club, I suppose. But come winter time, I'll probably pick up a bit, we do a bit more around there. So if you're that sort of minded, the first aid certificates and all that sort of stuff you get as being a member are invaluable. So yeah.
And it's not just obviously the storms and potentially fires and that, but car rescues and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
There's a whole lot of other dynamics to the rescue jobs that you guys do.
Yeah, no, we're a road rescue accredited unit, so I'm certified to use the jaws of life and that sort of stuff to rescue people, which is obviously can be quite traumatic. We get good training, good peer support and mental health management around that. We get a lot of calls too for assist ambulance with carrying bushwalkers and bike riders out of the forest too. So they're sort of the good ones, because generally it's only an ankle or a knee, and the people are really, really thankful for your help and stuff. So, yeah, so, it's been a journey, but it's been, I made some good friends, got some good life skills. And one of the highlights for me was we're able to campaign with the government to get a new facility. So just over 4 years ago, Emerald SES moved into a new state-of-the-art facility. We moved out of basically an old garden shed that only just fitted 2 of the 3 trucks and stuff. So to be able to campaign locally and federally to make noise that we needed better facilities. So that was probably the highlight of my tenure as a controller. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you do see it as you drive around, especially through the hills and the country towns, where you just see these sheds, and that's literally your base and at home. Which to think that the job that you guys have to do, that you think the governments would probably resource them more. But it's obviously a credit to yourself and your team to get that facility updated.
Absolutely, and if you only got to go. It's not that far from Silcock, is the Croydon, it's a Maroondah SES branch, which used to be called the Croydon branches. You're really not far from Silcock where they're based. And if you look where they are just crammed into a Shire facility. And like you say, sooner we get better funding, that even volunteers that have to go and shake tins and turn sausages to, put emergency equipment on the truck is just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's for sure. Like, I don't know, obviously Rupert's a fire fighter for us. We're kind of lucky because we do have a wide range of people with different skill sets at Rang. Have you actually sat down with him and shared any stories or chatted to him about?
Not really much with Rupert, because he's not at the club a great deal. I had a yarn or two with Joe, and so obviously Joe's a professional firefighter too. One of the things I have flagged with Joe is actually doing a night, maybe one selection night around. I suppose because we've got a lot of young drivers in the club around, not doing stupid shit on the road, and what he goes to road accidents, I go to road accidents, and what we have to deal with, and just having a driver awareness sort of night, a few slideshows, and just sort of share with the boys that you're driving a weapon, and you've got to be responsible. So. So it's something we flagged, and we'll have a chat with Prez probably in the new year about picking a driver education type thing.
And not only that, it's obviously it's great to kind of discuss this topic, but we do obviously have a lot of younger members who are looking to going where they're going the next from, I guess, as you go from high school into either uni or your trades or whatever, and like that. It's always hard to come and approach. Well, obviously people think we're approachable because of cricket reasons, but people want to actually, look at different jobs and volunteers and stuff like that. And I would say to the young fellas and the young ladies out there, feel free to come up and have a chat, because obviously learning from Ben, like there'll be so many people that don't actually know what you do. Obviously Joe, Rupert, with the firefighter, myself, Trev, are train drivers. We've got electricians and plumbers and tradies and stuff like that. So it's not just like we're there and I was listening to a podcast with from another club of another cricketer saying, he was saying the same thing. He goes, I finished high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do with myself. But then I had these conversations actually around the club, and then I kind of got guidance with that. So people around are actually here for more than just that. We're obviously a big massive support unit that people can lean on, and you can have these conversations to find out a bit more if maybe it's something you want to get involved in, either as a career or as you have done for so long and volunteered, mate. Yeah,
that's right. I mean, the life skills and friends you make by doing that type of stuff is invaluable and gives you purpose and worth. If you might be between jobs and not know what you do with yourself, and you go and volunteer somewhere, whether it's a homeless shelter or whatever, to get you by. The other thing I think we could do probably with the club is actually promote each other's businesses. Like the other day I had phone problems. I dropped into KK's business, and she fixed my phone up in 5 minutes. So I'd rather go to someone like KK than someone I don't know. So I think there's probably some room in that space that if you know a plumber and there's a plumber in the club or whatever, that type of stuff, we can be probably helping each other out that way.
Yeah, I agree. I only clicked when Tux and I did the interview, and I actually didn't know he was Sparky. So we got chatting afterwards, and he's going to come over and do some of my electrical work that I need done. So it's great because it gives him business and stuff like that. And it's
and you can trust him.
trustworthy person that I know, because that can be the big thing of when we're booking tradies and stuff. It's like, do I actually know this person? How reputable are they? I'm not saying tradies are bad, but obviously it's like every industry. There's a couple bad fish ruin it for everybody and that, and where 99% of the people doing the work are fantastic. So no, for sure, we probably do need to plug it more about what we all do, and but we are there for for the younger people. As you said, not even the younger people sometimes want even just a career change. I had 4 career changes by 35, so it's, you definitely don't need to be on that same path forever.
No, exactly right. If you get up in the morning and decide you don't really feel like going to work anymore because you're not loving it, then you need to think about changing it up.
Yeah, for sure. Mate, I think we've covered a lot. I do really appreciate you giving up his time. I hope the Rangers community really enjoyed that. Apart from the obviously career and everything you're doing in the Sixers, the under 10s, and all that involvement, and especially your support with the women's, but also from a career point of view, the many hats that you wear, be it the SES fire hat or the support hat, and then obviously the Santa hat at the moment. And I know you're in the NDIS world and everything like that. So, mate, you're a real treasure. It was, I know all the work you do and like the volunteering, you don't do it for the accolades, but to obviously get that accolade that you did was well deserved. And mate, we I guess we thank you as a community for everything you've done on that part.
No, thanks for the shout out, mate. It's been fun. I enjoy the podcast because like last week I learned a bit about tuck and because I'm sort of new to the club, I don't know a real lot about some of the guys. I'm spending a bit around tucks, but you don't know when he started playing cricket, how he enjoyed it. Same with Joe. I learned a lot about Joe when Joe jumped on. That was a great podcast. So I certainly review if they don't come through in a timely manner, because I look forward to them, as do the whole house. Actually, we listen to them in our own time. So
but I love it.
It's been a way to connect, as you know, because you can get a bit of some of the guys to sort of talk about one thing or another in the podcast. So it's been great for the club, I think, to learn and share. And so well done to you.
No, I appreciate it, mate. So no, it's only reflecting on the great people we have down here at Rang. So appreciate it, mate. Well, I know you and I will catch up through the week, and I hope you guys have enjoyed that out there. Nathan and I will be back for a full review for those people who've been asking with that. And if you've got any questions, you've got any guests, guys that you want to shout out, got any questions for Ben, he's always happy for a chat. So get down and ask him what you need to ask him. Maybe not about the Brisbane Lions because you'll be there for all night, but for everything else.
When's playing in the Sixers? That's what I want to know.
Yes, exactly, mate. Thanks, Benny. Thanks, Ray, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, thanks, mate. Bye.